Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Corner of Curiosity. My name is Emily Tucker. I'm the Senior Director of Brand Marketing for 21C Museum Hotels, and I'm delighted to get to spend a few minutes with you and share about our brand, our properties, with the hopes that you walk away with a lot of excitement about who we are and why we do what we do. 21C Museum Hotels was founded in 2006, and at that time was truly a disruptor in the boutique hotel business. And that is because we combined a lot of things that you didn't typically find in the boutique hotel space at that time. And really, you don't find it now either. Not only did we bring forth modern Southern hospitality and chef-driven restaurants into the boutique hotel space, we also brought contemporary art museums. Each of our properties is home to expansive exhibition space that showcases the art of today. As a brand, we like to say we're locally rooted and globally engaged. The art you're going to see on the walls is from every country in the world. And so you're able to, no matter who you are or where you're from, find a piece of yourself within the 21C collection. At the same time, we're locally rooted. We are immersed within our communities, and inside of our chef-driven restaurants, you will find the regional fare of that community. So you're able to experience both our communities and the world at the same time. 21C was founded by a married duo, Steve Wilson and Laura Lee Brown. And in all honesty, when they founded 21C, their goal wasn't to develop a hotel brand. It was simply to revitalize downtown Louisville. You see, Steve and Laura Lee are both farmers, both grew up on a farm and both live on a farm together today. And they were watching the city of Louisville do what a lot of secondary and tertiary cities had been doing over the years, which was an abandonment of the downtown urban core and a sprawl out into the farmland, threatening the very land that Steve and Laura Lee hold so dear. And so they wanted to find a way to stop that urban sprawl and really bring people back into downtown Louisville. And they thought, what better way to do that than to share our art with the masses? But they wanted to do that with a very distinct approach. They wanted to do that with inclusivity in mind, which meant you had to remove all barriers. We had to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and most importantly, we had to be free of charge. And so in order to have a contemporary art museum with all of those components, we needed to add other pieces of the business to it in order to be financially stable. And so thus, boutique hotel was added. That brought forth a staff 24 hours a day. And the restaurant was added in to bring both tourists and locals into the space and thus discover the hotel and the contemporary art museum. 21C believes that art can shape the future. It's a catalyst for urban revitalization and civic connection, and we've seen that. We host over 2,500 cultural programming events across our 9 properties every year. And those are all free of charge, just like the Contemporary Art Museum. We also have watched our museums create thought-provoking conversation and bring people into a different space than they came into when they first entered. You're seeing different points of view from artists all over the world about things that are happening in the world right now. And we are committed as a brand to continue those conversations and committed to expanding access to contemporary art across more and more cities in the country. When we talk about 21C, we say museum hotel, and the museum always comes first. Inside of our 9 current properties, we have over 77,000 square feet of exhibition space. The beauty of that exhibition space is that it doubles as revenue-producing event and meeting space. So when they're not in use for meetings or events, those galleries are free and open to the public. When they are in use for meetings and events, they supply whomever is utilizing that space with a truly creative and thought-provoking space to discuss, learn, and share. Inside of our building, you will find 2 different types of exhibitions. The first is a curated rotating exhibition. We have a team of over 15 individuals staffed for our museums, led by our chief curator and museum director, Alice Gray Stites. Her team, herself, Steve, and Laura Lee are all working together to draw from the nearly 3,000 works inside of the 21C collection to build exhibitions that are rotating every 9 to 12 months within our buildings. The beauty of those rotating exhibitions is that if you stay with us a couple of times a year, you are more than likely going to see a completely different space every time you enter. The beauty of these exhibitions is that they fully transform the spaces, all of the public spaces, from the lobby to all of the galleries surrounding it. And so it creates this dynamic, ever-changing experience for both our guests and our locals. The second type is really permanent art installations and commissions. So along with those rotating exhibitions, you're going to find permanent artworks that reside in each of our properties. They're like our signature artworks. You're also going to find several commissions that were done by artists working alongside our museum team. You see one on the screen here. This is actually a working hotel room called Asleep in the Cyclone, and it's located in 21C Louisville. Interesting backstory about this room. It actually still is, in the basement of the hotel. And at the beginning, we had a very different design for the room, and unfortunately, it just wasn't getting booked. And so our museum director, Alice, came to the team and said, would you mind if I had 2 artists take over the suite and design it? Of course, no one had any objections to that. And out of that collaboration came this amazing 70s throwback, Asleep in the Cyclone. And this room is booked on a daily basis. When we talk about our food and beverage, the most important thing for us to bring forth is that each of our restaurants has a unique point of view. We do not have one singular restaurant in all of our hotels. Each of our hotels has their own restaurant with its own personality and its own regional fare. Our chefs are constantly recreating the menu based on what is coming in from local purveyors and local farms. And so you're always getting the freshest ingredients and the most seasonal produce that you can find inside of our restaurants. You see a quote on the screen here from one of our chefs that we're not a traditional hospitality group and that we don't shy away from change. Change is what has really transformed 21C. It's what keeps us fresh. And so we must see that across our museum, across our hotels, and across our restaurants at all times. Now I'll introduce you to each of the currently open properties and share a little bit of information about each of them. You see the map of our current properties open. The gray penguins are our properties that are currently in development, and then the rest are currently open. You might be asking, why in the world are there penguins on this map? Quick story, penguins are kind of our mascot, not intentionally at all, but they have certainly become that. In 2005, Steve and Laura Lee were in Venice at the Venice Biennale. And Cracking Art, who is an artist collective out of Venice, was doing a takeover of the city with these penguins everywhere. They're little 4-foot plastic statues that you found in every corner of the city, on roofs, on boats, anywhere you looked, there were penguins. And Steve and Laura Lee fell in love with them and brought 30 home. Not really sure what they were going to do with them, but inserted them into the first exhibition, thinking once this exhibition closes, we'll pack them up and bring them out again another time. But as the end of the first exhibition approached, they realized they couldn't do that. The public had truly fallen in love with the penguins because it's one of the most approachable pieces of art that you'll ever find. You can pick it up. It'll have dinner with you at your dinner table. You'll find it in the elevator. Sometimes you find it outside your hotel room. They're just fun, delightful, and always bring a smile to our guests' faces. So instead of putting them away, they've become a permanent fixture in 21C Louisville. And with each subsequent property, we've given them their own individual penguin color and their own flock to move about the buildings. Our properties are all very different, and you'll see that on the following slides, but there are many amenities within 21C that are shared across all. The first, obviously, the 24-hour Contemporary Art Museum. All of our buildings also provide free Wi-Fi both in the rooms and in the public spaces. Bus parking is available as well as dry cleaning services. We have a 24-hour fitness center. We have a 24-hour business center as well in all of our properties. We have 21C museum gift shops. All of our rooms are pet friendly, and we do provide free water in all of our rooms. One of the most important, because our hotel is also a contemporary art museum, we have guest only access to hotel floors within the elevator. So you must use your key card in order to get into any of the floors that contain guest rooms. Our first hotel, which we've talked a little bit about already, is 21C Louisville. They opened in March of 2006, and they are home to the Red Penguin. This hotel is actually 5 old bourbon and tobacco warehouses that were put together to make 91 hotel rooms, 9,000 square feet of exhibition space, and is home to the Proof on Main restaurant. 21C Louisville is on the corner of 7th and Main Street in downtown Louisville on what is called Museum Row. We are just blocks from the KFC Yum Center, which houses a ton of concerts and sporting events. And we're also just minutes from multiple distilleries within the Urban Bourbon Trail. 21C Cincinnati followed as the second hotel. The home of the Yellow Penguin opened in November of 2012. Up until recently, Cincinnati was our largest property at 156 rooms. They are home to the Metropole restaurant and showcase 8,000 square feet of exhibition space. This is our only hotel without what you would call a penthouse suite, what we call a 21C suite. And in lieu of that, we actually have a full service spa on the 10th floor called the Spa at 21C. Along with Metropole, we also have a seasonal rooftop cocktail terrace that typically opens in late spring and runs through early fall. 21C Bentonville followed very shortly after the opening of Cincinnati in February of 2013. It is home to the Green Penguin and is our only scratch-build property to date. It houses 104 rooms and a whopping 12,000 square feet of exhibition space. 21C Bentonville is located about a half mile from the Crystal Bridges Museum of Art. There is a beautiful walking trail between our property and that property. And just recently, Crystal Bridges opened their contemporary art arm called The Momentary. And now there is a shuttle that runs between all three, 21C, The Momentary, and Crystal Bridges. Bentonville property is also home to the Hive restaurant, which is also home to 6-time James Beard semifinalist executive chef Matt McClure. Some of the most delicious fried chicken you'll ever find. 21C Durham opened on basically the town square in March of 2015. We're directly off the city center, and you'll find the fuchsia penguin floating around this once SunTrust Bank building. There are 125 rooms in Durham and 10,000 square feet of exhibition space. You'll also find the Counting House restaurant, which showcases a beautiful array of seafood and regional fare. Following Durham, in March of 2016 and the home to the Blue Penguin, 21C Lexington is smack dab in the middle of downtown. We're about 3 blocks from Rupp Arena, which is, again, where a slew of concerts, and most importantly to people from Lexington, it's where the University of Kentucky Wildcats play basketball. This is our smallest of the hotels at 88 rooms, still boasts 7,000 square feet of exhibition space, and the Lockbox restaurant. 21C Lexington, very similar to Durham, was also a historic bank building, hence the name of the restaurant. In June of 2016, we opened our largest exhibition space hotel so far. That's 21C Oklahoma City. The Purple Penguin resides in what was once a Model T Ford plant. So you'll find extremely tall windows and high ceilings in the 135 rooms here. And you'll also find a lot of beautifully exposed historic beams, concrete floors, especially in the area of Mary Eddy's Kitchen and Lounge. We are found on Film Row in Oklahoma City. It's just on the west end of downtown, still near to everything. And this hotel, just like Durham and Lexington, has a shuttle that will run you throughout the city. After Oklahoma in 2017, we opened 21C Nashville, which at the time was probably our largest city to date. We're just off of Broadway. We're about 2.5 blocks from the hustle and bustle of Broadway. So if you love honky tonk music, you're just a couple steps away. But when you need a break from honky tonk music, you're just a couple steps away back to your quiet respite of a hotel. We house 124 rooms in the old Gray and Dudley Hardware building. You'll find just over 10,000 square feet of exhibition space, and in homage to the previous life of the building, you'll also find the Gray and Dudley restaurant. #21C Kansas City opened in July of 2018. It's home to the Sky Blue Penguin. This is probably our most historic building. It was once the Savoy Hotel and Grill, which was the longest running open hotel in west of the Mississippi until we closed down for renovation in 2014. In homage again to the previous life of the building, the restaurant is called the Savoy at 21C. You'll find 120 rooms, including the 21C penthouse suite, and 7,400 square feet of exhibition space. 21C Kansas City is found in the financial district, kind of smack dab in the middle between Power and Light and River Market. And most recently, the Evergreen Penguins home in 21C Chicago opened in February of 2020. Very large for 21C at 297 rooms, 10,000 square feet of exhibition space, and we will soon be opening Lure Restaurant. Out of those 297 rooms, you'll find 106 of those suites, and 2 of those suites being 21C penthouse suites. This hotel is found in River North, just 1 block off of Michigan Avenue. For locator, you're right by the Starbucks Reserve building and directly next to Italy. So it is very convenient, not only for leisure travel, but also for business travel. Very bright and airy, and you will not notice you're in the middle of a downtown, even though you are. And that is all. I hope you enjoyed a little quick tour through 21C and that you will join us soon. Thank you so much for your time.